For over 15 years, O'Shea's Automotive has been a place you can trust. We service all makes and models, foreign and domestic, and always at a fair price. We're O'Shea's Automotive, Wall Township's best kept secret. Just ask around.
And now, it's time for the RPM Podcast.
I have always been a fan of
hot dogs. The Bow Wow or a bun pup.
I don't like buns.
Hot dog is correct.
That's huge.
Tube steak was next. Groundhog, a Coney Island chicken, a Coney Island bloodhound. Those are all hot dogs. Also, those are all harder to say than hot dog.
Yeah, there's a big controversy over the hot dog situation.
I love wieners.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Big 3-0, week 30, or episode 30 for the RPM Podcast. Thanks for still listening, I guess.
Nicely done, Josh. That intro was great.
I'm glad you liked it. I'm sure. I know one person that's going to absolutely dislike it.
But he's not here right now.
Yeah, well, he decided to, bail. He pulled a Graham on the podcast and went to Punta Cana or something.
Yeah, you said it. I did.
Punta, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't. It's one of those tropical. I don't
Dominican
know.
Republic, is that right?
I have no idea. All I know is I'd rather go to Maine than anywhere like south. Like people go to Florida all the time. I don't get it, but that's
only
me.
for Disney.
But yeah. All right. Anyway, folks at home, or in your car, or wherever you may be,
In your ear.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're crawling into your brain. Josh Matthews here, not your main host, but I just want to get my name out of the way so people can forget it faster. Sam Ballard Jr., your host. Nick Rendo. Nick Rendo. It sounds like, I don't know, some type of fictional superhero name or...
I am Duffman. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Eric Graham, not here. Eric Brennan, not here. Pulling a Graham. Go figure.
We're Ericless again, folks. What are we going to do?
I don't know. Last week was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah. Maybe we should contribute to keep him in... Where is it again?
Punta Cana.
And he's right. It's in the Dominican Republic.
Nick, say hello to everybody.
How's it going, everybody? It's good to really be here.
All
I've heard so much about it from Sam.
I think he said almost went to say good to see you.
I think so. And I was like, I can't see anyone.
Good to see the lens of a GoPro. Got it.
We are filming in front of a live studio audience, folks.
Yeah. Samsung.
Yeah.
God.
Except it's
don't. Flashback to Eric Graham jokes.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
Good golly. Well, we have a
Miss
lot.
Molly.
Yeah. Well, folks, we have a lot to talk about, and I think we're just going to get right in.
All right. Well, what are we starting with, Mr. Sam?
We're starting with NASCAR, because why not? I mean,
Because why not?
because that's the way we normally do things around here. Loudon, New Hampshire is where the Cup guys are at.
Wait, Loud in New Hampshire?
Loudon, New England.
Were they loud?
I see what you did there. I just lost my appetite, folks. Josh Matthews, you are a funny man.
His appetite. You mean Wendy's didn't fill you up before?
Yeah.
No, he filled up Wendy.
Oh, my God.
I think we just
Anyway,
broke. Sam's brain just broke.
Yeah. All right, folks. So you're listening in because you want to hear some racing, and we'll start with the truck series and work your way up. Starting from the bottom, now we're here.
Are we
right?
starting with the truck series because you're wearing a Chevy Trucks hat?
I am.
Okay.
And why not?
I got no reason why not.
I mean,
Let's do it.
why not? Let's do it. So William Byron destroyed the competition at Loudon on Saturday.
Yes, it was Saturday.
It was a
Well, that's
Saturday
when I saw it
afternoon
anyway.
race. Yeah. It was a pretty good race. The trucks took at it. I like the trucks at Loudon. I thought that they put on a great show. What do you think, Josh?
I like the trucks at Flemington.
I mean, but Yeah, you lost me there, Josh.
That was a long time ago when
Yeah.
they were like an inaugural season.
Yes, like 1995, 96.
I think I saw it was 94 or 95 that I saw them there. They weren't. They had a competition caution. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think
So-
they started racing the trucks in '95.
Yeah.
Back when Skinner and Earnhardt and all them were racing at it. But yeah, it was the first race for the Truck Series Chase. William Byron advanced to the next round. I don't think that's a surprise fact. That KBM truck is strong every weekend, in and out. I wrote down in my notes here to mention. Let's see. Hemrick's truck decided to catch on flames in the beginning of the race, kind of making his his chase harder from here on out. There you go.
They're a good minute to
I caught
organize that. It's
race
all right.
chase. It all kind of rhymes.
Yeah.
But
You got to keep it simple.
yeah, yes, yeah. And with that too, John Hunter Nemechek did not pass post-race inspection.
Wait, was this another laser grid?
Let me look. If it is, he pulled a Truex.
Yeah.
NASCAR announced for height inspection.
Oh.
Yeah, no LSI or whatever they call it nowadays.
Okay.
He sits fourth in the chase grid, and the penalty will be announced later this week. And I don't think they announced it. And it's Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Wednesday night.
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything either. So, moving on up in the racing world, the NASCAR Xfinity Series took on Kentucky, where Elliott Sadler drove away for his third victory of the year.
I haven't been counting, honestly.
Yeah, I mean
I try to watch the race and the product of the race, not so much the I don't know. I'm not a stats guy. I'm a product guy, and Brennan is a stats guy. And
Brennan's a nerd. That's what he is. Just straight up
he
nerd.
is such a nerd.
He doesn't listen anyway, folks.
Yeah, I can just imagine.
Yeah.
Hold on. What the hell does that mean?
But
Nick has yet to comment on any of this.
well, did you watch any of the racing, Nick?
Yes.
You're the oval nerd. Josh is Josh, and I'm the road course nerd.
I mean, I agree. I think it should be more road course racing in NASCAR, but I mean, that's
I
like
agree.
off-season discussion
Definitely
Yeah.
agree.
when we have something less to talk about.
The F1 guy.
How come,
Yeah.
how come Xfinity doesn't go to Montreal anymore? They haven't been there, like 3-4 years? I don't think they go there anymore. You know,
I remember Cart used to go there, I think.
you remember that run race,
Yeah.
right? Where Danica Patrick, where she was supposed to win, and then she ran over like the shoe or something like that. With
Yes.
her brake lines. Yeah, it was like
I
really,
remember
really
that
famous.
now.
And I
You
think
wa-
she was going to win the next year, and who was it? Jacques Villeneuve, Gil's son, ended up
Okay.
like wrecking her or something like that, and he didn't even win anyway. I
I'm
don't even
trying
know
to
who
think.
it is.
It might have been. I'm wondering if that was just like more of a market test.
To see, yeah,
Because
it was like
didn't they go
3
down to Mexico?
They did 2006, where
Was it Montoya that won?
no, it was between Montoya
And Ambrose.
no, it wasn't between Montoya and Ambrose. It was
Yes, it was.
no. Who drives? Oh, good golly.
We're breaking him. Anyway,
Good.
anyway, I mean, have they really been back since though?
Not in Mexico, I don't believe.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it was just a market test to see can we draw fans from other countries. You know, we got all these American fans. Let's see if we can expand because
For sure. That's an awesome track. I've been there 3 times to see the F1 race, and it's just so good. I love that track.
which track is that?
Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, it's in Montreal. Yeah, really,
Okay.
really nice track.
Well, no, could we jump to Mexico for a second? I was
Oh,
like, wait,
yeah.
when did you go to Mexico?
Hola. ¿Cómo se llama?
Oh dear.
But NASCAR's no stranger to doing that, though, because I think in like the early 90s, they used to do a race in Japan, I thought. Because I remember Dale Earnhardt
Wasn't
Sr. was
it
still
the
racing.
IROC they did over there?
I thought it was actually a NASCAR race.
It might have been.
I just remember the Twin Ring in Motegi being one of the kart races or whatever, but they just never got fans. Well, the series never
Well,
got fans.
I think that's the issue.
And Indy's still struggling even after they brought the two series together, so I don't know what you want. I mean, I don't know.
It says Denny Hamlin won the race in Mexico in 2006, if that's when they actually first started.
All right.
I
Anyway,
think, anyway.
moving forward.
Yeah, so Elliott Sadler did a great job driving away and winning the opener for the Chase guys over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool seeing Elliott Sadler win. I mean, I joked about him a few times. I like Elliott Sadler. I think he's a good driver. he is he's the end of the era wheelmen. You know, like I think Elliott Sadler, I think of like what he did with the Wood Brothers, you know,
Okay.
at Bristol and stuff like that. And he's just may not have had the best of luck and the best of rides, but he seems to make the best out of it.
I gotcha. I follow
And
that.
complete respect out of that Junior Motorsports crew because that team is on it. But on
They're-
the Cup level, he hasn't been in the best of rides.
Well, it's sad that some of the really great drivers, just because they can't get into good equipment,
Yeah, they
can't-
never see it.
you can't see their full potential. I mean,
Yeah.
that's happened to a few people.
Absolutely, that happens on wall. That wall. I mean, any form
Oh,
of
yeah.
racing is like that.
Definitely.
It's so much more car, and I mean,
It's
it's
a money
so much
game.
driver, but you need the equipment too.
Ladies and gentlemen, we forgot to mention. I forgot to mention, so I'm going to put it on me here. So you know what? Let me do. Because I
the Diva
screwed that.
crowd.
Yeah,
Was it 10 minutes in?
yeah. Well, I totally forgot that to mention that Pete. I'm talking about the previous episode that you were talking about with Pete before.
Yeah.
Nick here is a former drag racer,
Yeah, junior drag racing. Yeah.
and you've won a few things, I believe. Correct?
Yeah, actually, I've really been blessed with the career. I think 3 track championships was awesome. And yeah, just a really blessed career. Really happy.
Yeah. So he's no slouch when it comes to racing, and I know he. He
is more-
follows all sorts of series, but I mean, he does have actual racing experience. So I get the Diva crown for a few minutes at least because I totally forgot to bring that up as we were all laughing about Eric and his
Throwing
hot
me
dogs.
off. Yeah. And his wieners. But, I mean, Nick, Josh, me being the one out here from actually never really driving a race car.
You raced a go-kart down in Millville.
Yeah.
You had fun.
Yeah.
And in Jersey City.
Pole position, folks. Great way to go out and have some fun.
Yep.
But going back to the whole Elliott Sadler thing, I mean, he's getting up there in age now on the driving clock. He's not old. In no way, is 40 is the new 25. It seems nowadays. Anyway,
Eric, you still have time. Graham, that is.
Josh said that, Eric. I did not. But you had other chase guys at Kentucky. Eric Jones, Ty Dillon, collected in Rex, really shaking up the chase standards over there. And I brought that up in past episodes that stuff like that is what these chase guys need to capitalize on to stop Eric Jones and that JGR crew.
Okay.
And I think that Elliott Sadler did so. He listened. Elliott Sadler listens to the show, and that he did what he had to do.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
Oh, yeah, I know he is. So congratulations to him. And now,
and thank you for listening.
yeah, thanks for listening, Elliot. Well, hopefully we'll have you on the show next week when Nick's not here. So go back to bigger and better things. The Cup Series was at New England, Loudon. They were loud in Loudon. There
Thank
you go,
you.
Josh. You're welcome.
Now he likes it.
Just cheesy as hell. Kevin Harvick ends up not driving away.
Mr. Where did he come from?
There you go. There you go. He managed to steal that away from Truex. I think it was Martin Truex Jr.'s race to lose, and he somehow managed to find out a way to lose it.
It wasn't it a pit issue?
No,
Kind of. I mean,
yeah. No, yes, no. It was a bad restart. I mean, it was a mixture of a little things that went into one big thing, and it just ended up him not being able to
I gotcha.
come back. And it's kind of sad to see because him and I don't know if you watched the end of the race, Josh.
I was building a roof,
Oh,
so I really didn't get to.
you're
yeah.
like Bob the Builder.
I don't.
Well, anyway, he managed to race Kenseth. Yeah, I got nothing. He managed to race
Love
Kenseth for like the last 80 laps and not get anywhere near close to like wrecking him. There was never a moment you're like, oh, he's gonna wreck him. He's gonna wreck him. He's gonna wreck him.
Right.
He literally. Truex gave him the room and the respect that they needed to put on a great show, which is a topic that I think is cool to talk about. You said we talked about before the show about the product of the racing more than who actually wins the race.
Yes.
And I think, in hindsight, as an official, obviously as an official, you're not supposed to favor anybody. And I think it's really important overall whether or not you're a Johnson fan, Gordon fan, Truex fan, you want to see a good race. And I think majority of the NASCAR fans would probably agree with that, as long as Kyle Busch didn't win the race.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, depends on if Gordon's out there too, though.
Yeah.
For a lot, the people still feel that way. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But a lot of it has turned around. I think a lot of it for Kyle Busch is turning around as well.
I do too. I mentioned on the show last week too about me becoming a Kyle Busch fan. I'll be driving a Toyota soon. You never know.
I mean, it doesn't mean I necessarily want to go hang out at the bar with him. But,
No.
you know, you at least have respect for him as a driver and capabilities.
Yeah.
I think when we saw him go into that wall at Daytona at the beginning of last year, no one would ever have thought that
Yeah.
he'd
Oh,
be back.
no. Yeah,
Back at all that year, let alone win the championship, which is incredible.
No, he's definitely a wheelman. The amazing saves he makes, like he's had race cars that should have been trashed, and he manages to bring them back.
Well, like-
his underpants are probably trashed, but the cars aren't.
Being into racing though, how many times have you seen a driver get into an accident just wasn't good and just never really come back the same and never really
Yes.
find
Yeah.
it's so much like mental and never
Yeah.
really find that edge
Oh, it
again
is.
or anything like that.
Yeah, you know,
For sure.
yeah, guys like Steve Park come to mind. I mean, a lot of, even to an extent like Michael McDowell, too, he had that really bad wreck in Texas, and now he's finally, in my opinion, making a little headway. He just got that win in.
Yes. That also kind of goes into a bit of our drivers who have the potential, but
Yes.
not the
Yeah,
equipment.
exactly.
Unfortunately, but that could have been a combination between coming back to it after having a wreck like that and getting it. I don't
He
know.
must just be so mentally conditioned and just all around
Yeah,
really, really
I don't
well,
know. Kyle Busch.
which makes a champion overall. So
Yeah. So Kevin Harvick finished first, Matt Kenseth second, Kyle Busch third, Keselowski, and then Kurt Busch. Brother Kurt rounds out the top five. Carl Edwards, Truex, Johnson, Kane with a solid ninth place finish. Where was that a few weeks ago? Maybe he would be talking a Chase berth there. And then Kyle Larson rounding out the top 10. Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent race. What do you guys think?
Sounds like it was good. Again, I was hoping that when I
Okay.
got home there would be the replay of
Yeah.
it, or even highlights or the radioactive anything.
You know what I like about Loudon is, and you've actually been to Loudon, right,
Yes,
Nick? You've been
yeah.
on the track at Loudon.
Yeah.
It looks flat.
it's not, and both turns are completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, but from the other tracks that we go to, it looks flat, and it's like that looks like a parking lot out there. How are they doing what they're doing?
No. Yeah.
And I think the changing of the cars and the way the mechanics work now, and the way the engineers have it hooked up, they're nowhere near that yellow line. You're
No.
slow if you're against that
You
yellow
can't
line
be
now.
on the bottom. It's just there's no grip.
Yeah.
It's so loose.
And that's
The way the
insane.
degree of the banking is. Yeah.
That is
absolutely.
insane.
You just lose all the load on the side of the back. And it
Yeah,
kicks
I mean,
out.
going to racetracks like IRP back in the day, even like Darlington being against the wall, it's insane that most of these racetracks now, the middle to higher lane seem to be the best way around the track.
And a few years ago, Bristol was actually changed to make it a higher line
Yeah.
track. Yeah.
Yeah, and they tried to change it back, and
Right.
They
And now it's just
They
anywhere.
now I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now.
do two negatives make a positive in that case?
the three lefts do make a right.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do at Bristol to win. But no, I mean, I think it's so cool to see guys. I mean, guys like Carl Edwards who have no problem going underneath onto the apron of the track to make that third line work. We see even races at Fontana now. They're either you're up against the wall or you're down up underneath in the apron, which is insane. And I mean, I've never raced a car, but
Avoid the track at all costs is what is get as far away.
it's like driving down the Garden State Parkway, folks, in the middle of summertime. You just got to find a lane and just stick to it. That's what you really got to do.
They don't know what it means to stick to a lane on the parkway. I'll tell you that.
Us Jersey drivers do.
Well, those North
Most.
Jersey
I
guys, you
do.
got to watch out for.
I do. Yeah. It's from like Monmouth County down. We're good to go.
No, I won't even give you Monmouth.
All right. Okay.
But that's an argument for another time.
All right. True. You're right. You're right. Some notables I thought were pretty cool.
Are we going to have a DMX intro sometime soon?
Sure. He does a new Xfinity commercial now. It's great.
No. What are
X
you
is going to give it to you. And I'm not getting paid to say that either. I sponsor a lot of people on here. I should get a T-shirt. Like Joe Gibbs has the different sponsors on the shirts.
No, your T-shirt will definitely not say Heat Race winner.
No. Oh.
So
Womp, womp, womp. Some quick notables before we wrap up the NASCAR section here. Alex Bowman, 14th place finish. That is a Jeff Gordon quality run in that 88 car, and that was not Jeff Gordon behind the wheel, which I thought was pretty cool. And believe it or not, when I went down to Richmond, I actually met Alex Bowman. He's a pretty laid-back kid. And you don't realize how
Wait, you
young-
say kid. How old is he?
I don't know. I'm about to look that up right now.
Because, I mean, there's not much margin for you to call someone kid.
True. He's probably a little older than me. Yeah, 1993. So his birthday is the day after
23,
mine.
23, 24.
Yeah.
So he's one day younger than you.
Well, he's 4 years older than me.
Okay. Oh, never mind. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't call him kid then.
No, you're right. I'm the kid.
Yes.
But no, he very laid back, very well respected. Took some time to talk to me for a little bit, and I thought that was pretty cool. He was hanging out with a few of the Tommy Baldwin guys, which is really cool to see the connection between that, with the whole sport and everything.
And I think Junior was present, right, at Loudon? Wasn't he on the pit box? Or he's going to be on the pit box at Dover?
No,
that might
and
be
that's a great segue, Nick.
I think he's going to be on the pit box at Dover.
We have guys, Dale Jr. is finally coming back from his...
And Jeff's going to be in the car at Dover.
Yeah. I would say his leave, because that's what he left from his concussion.
Yeah.
So that's cool to see him back at the racetrack. We talked about Kyle Busch. There was a big day at the White House today. The White House honored Kyle Busch for his championship. They do that every year, though. Every year they honor the NASCAR champion. They wait until the next season to declare a new champion to honor the old one. I don't know how that works.
That sounds like politics.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds as useful as...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see...
And it makes as much sense as what's going on...
No, yeah, completely.
With the future of the White House as well. So
yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that.
I'm not going to make a wall joke because that's not nice. But not the racetrack wall, but actual walls. Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Womp, womp, womp. But it was pretty cool to see, Kyle Busch, the NASCAR guys around the White House, for at least a day. They took over Snapchat, stuff like that. But I saw a lot of hate on the social media, which I get a kick out of reading. Yeah, shocker, right?
Hate on social media?
Yeah.
Against Kyle Busch?
Yeah.
No way.
But whether or not all politics aside, this is great for the sport. If you weren't into racing and you were into politics and you saw that bright green M&M car, maybe that spike a little, curiosity. Say, hey, what is this racing thing all about? Let me watch a little bit of it. And then you go and watch Dover, and you probably want to hurt yourself afterwards. Or fall asleep. One or the other.
I'm going to keep playing with my toys.
Yeah. Which is more entertaining than the races at Dover as of late.
Yeah, I hate saying that, but it's...
Though Matt Kenseth and Kyle Larson...
There usually ends up being at least one good battle at Dover.
Yeah.
Like somebody's chasing somebody down in the last, within the last 100.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that, after the first lap, they kind of get strung out.
Yeah, it turns into like an F1 race.
Don't be knocking F1.
I'm not knocking
They've been
F1.
beaten.
No, you're right. I agree with you.
And they're owned by an American company now.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Americans in F1?
No, a lot more of F1.
Yeah.
They're
American sponsorship just altogether, I think, is to be more
It's
popular.
not even just the sponsorship. I think because the way the FIA control... Actually, I'm going to go into this. Let's move this to the next segment.
Yes, great idea.
Yeah, I think it's going to work out a lot better for us on time. So,
Yeah.
that really wraps up the NASCAR
No,
stuff
it
for
does.
the most part. And, yeah.
Otherwise, it was a typical chase race, and Kevin Harvick just
Yay.
ended up winning. Yeah, his team didn't screw up this weekend.
Slow clap.
Yeah.
Golf clap.
Yeah, round of applause. But that concludes the NASCAR portion of the show. And when we get back from the break, we'll talk about ARCA, Modifieds, NHRA, and like we just talked about, a little bit of F1. See you on the other side.
It is the RPM Podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Eric Brennan from the RPM Podcast. Want to get in touch with us? Send us an email at racingpodcastnj@gmail.com. And yes, hate mail for Josh is encouraged.
I don't know why they'd be hating you. I mean, you're here every week.
I guess I don't...
Ooh. Welcome back to the RPM Podcast. Sam Ballard Jr. here. To my right, Nick Rendo. And in front of me, on the board, Josh Matthews.
Yay. I have to say, we had a friend, Pete Mileto, on a couple weeks ago. And that was fun. And we got to talk about how he was, at one point, had been a pro wrestler.
Yes.
With the name Rick Ratchet, I believe it was. Or
Yes.
Ratchet Rick. I don't know. I get it. I don't know. But I'd say Nick Rendo is a much more wrestler name. I think Nick
Take
Rendo.
some notes, Pete.
Yeah. So sorry, Pete. No, you were hilarious. You were awesome, but I
was
know.
big into wrestling as a kid too.
It was everyone but me.
Really, I liked it.
No. I didn't want to say when Pete was here. He could kick my butt,
Probably.
but I really wasn't into it. Pete's a cool guy, though. Great guy.
was.
He is.
Also, we'd like to thank our sponsors, O'Shea's Auto Repair, SR Fabrications, and Ace and Holt Landscaping. Just want to get that in there before I forget about it.
There you go. I don't do the live reads. I got to get one in, but
I want you to do one, too.
yeah. I always got to get one in.
Nick,
Anyway.
Nick, do you sell any products, or
I do not.
you're just going to advertise Calvin Klein, apparently?
I guess. Yeah, I guess my hat does that on the GoPro. Representing.
He's a serviceman. So, well, we touched a little bit in segment 1 of the NASCAR thing. I figure we'll open it up to F1. You guys were going hard at it during the break talking about F1, and I figured, it was pretty cool to listen to you guys talk a little bit. But they have Malaysia coming up this weekend, and Nick, I know you're big into F1. News came out a few weeks ago that Apple was looking at maybe purchasing the McLaren team, McLaren Honda over there on the F1 side. I don't know which direction Apple is going with this, but I think
I'm
it'd
going
be
to tell
good
you
for the
this.
sport.
They're going to have to go to all Bluetooth radios. That's true. There will be no headphone jacks.
The new F1 game is going to need an update then. Get rid of all the cables.
Is it water resistant?
Oh, no.
Everything's made out of glass.
It needs to be in Malaysia.
We just lost Apple sponsorship for the show.
I'm all right with that. Come on, Sony.
Anyway, I think it's pretty cool that Apple is showing an American company like Apple is showing interest in Formula One,
Which is now owned by an American company, too.
Well, now it is, but
Well, actually, that we never really announced that on the show. I don't think about how I forgot the name of the media company. Somebody save me here. That basically bought all the rights for F1.
However, I think Bernie's still somehow negotiated in the contracts.
Please.
With his billions, I'm sure he,
Yeah.
All right, you have to show a guy sitting in a tub wearing a duck costume today. It'll happen.
But they're actually not the first to do it, though, because I think
Bernie.
Microsoft sponsored Lotus at one point. Microsoft definitely
Liberty
did, right?
Media.
Okay, now see here's something, kind of my prediction.
$4.4 billion.
All right, so with it being owned by an American media company, I think the broadcasts are going to get better. Because before you only had commentators, watching a TV just like we would at home.
You're right.
And commenting on it that way.
We could be
with the
Diffie.
exception of Will Buxton running around doing his pit walk.
Right.
What the heck are you doing,
My
Sam?
bad.
Do you have volume control?
It was an ad. I do. These damn Apple products.
Formula One's so interesting, too, because they just have one live feed, and
everybody gets the same.
Exactly.
Now, there was a time... And I think it's gotten a little more lax since the past, I don't know, let's say a decade ago, where you couldn't even get a replay because of the rules and everything else. So remember the Speed Channel, their awards, it would be biggest crash. Yep. They had tons. It was great.
And they never got the F1.
They would play the audio, but they would just show frame. They showed you a couple pictures of it. They couldn't even broadcast a replay, which was insane because the FIA is like their own government. It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's that big and powerful too. And
yeah,
they can
exactly.
Do that. But you're right. No, it has definitely.
Now they actually show
absolutely. But I noticed during the race, the commentators can't control that. However, if you watch like F1 Extra, the debrief after the race, I think they have much more control over the feed because they can say like, oh, let's show this again with this angle in that car. But I think the BBC's coverage is. Kind of better than ours. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen. Sorry, Sam.
Go finish your thought.
I just see that with an American media company handling it, you're going to see a lot better replays. They're going to invest a lot more money into broadcasting this. You actually might see commentators actually in a booth at a track.
That would be awesome because I think they only go to Monaco now and Montreal, and I think those are the only two.
Yeah, and Texas.
They go to Texas,
Austin,
so there's three. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that's going to be a huge plus. I think it's going to be better in advertising. They're going to they're going to handle getting people or getting the word out there about the races a little bit better. Although NBC Sports has done a pretty damn good job.
Oh,
I
they
have to
have.
say.
Yes, I was really worried about that too when they left speed. But you know what? No, yeah, it really has. I ran into Steve Matchett, one of the people, when I was at Montreal, and we were talking to him about that, and he actually said that he was surprised also because he said that when they first left speed, not that they were going to dumb it down, but it was going to be a little bit less technical because it had a little bit more broader of an audience to try and captivate those fans. Because if it's super technical, it would be hard for people to jump on board and roll with it. But I think over time, it's kind of gotten back to the same technicality that.
I agree. I'm really happy with it, Sam.
I think that's important, though, because the three of us plus our viewers at home, we're the ones that are into it. We understand what track bar, wedge, what the height of the car does, and all the other what we think is practical or simple stuff about our sport. When people are like, maybe like,
come on, throw a burning tire into us.
Exactly. Or like, why isn't the red car wrecking the blue car? Or what are they doing? Are they allowed to touch each other through the turn? Stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, and I think that's what's really good that NBC is bringing back to NASCAR. Is they're, in a way, they are dumbing it down. They are dumbing it down.
Well, I think there's an initial dumbing it down, and then they also will get into a more technical part of it as it goes on. And if you're still interested, then you get more out of it.
Yes.
Right,
but if you're like,
shows, they have the extra shows and everything like that, so it might not be on the initial broadcast, but you could definitely go more into it.
And Formula One has been pretty good about explaining their calls. They've been releasing videos and explanations on weird, and people are like, wait, how is that a penalty? And they're like, here's what happened. Right. Here's what violated this rule or whatever, and this didn't, blah, blah, blah.
And I'll tell you what, one good thing about F1, there's a lot of good things going on in racing. Even with NASCAR and F1 side, F1 has such a huge, strong social media presence. Like you said, on the official side of it, explaining to the fans why they did what they did and how they did what they did. Right. To kind of explain to them, like, hey, because at the end of the day, they're trying to appease the fans because they're the ones that are paying for the tickets, going to the track, buying the merchandise, stuff like that. I think that's what F1 has a complete control on.
Well, you have a lot. There's a huge following for F1. There's a huge amount of loyalty as well, which actually ties really well with NASCAR. If you look at when Ferrari made the podium a couple weeks ago, did you see the crowd that came out?
Every year in Monza.
It was absolutely insane.
Yeah. And
just the crowd that came around the podium there after the race was bigger, probably by a multiple of
Absolutely.
More than two than the entire crowd that was at the NASCAR race at Indianapolis.
And this is going to sound crazy, but having been to a NASCAR race and a Formula One race, I know that on the surface, Formula One might seem more exclusive and things like that, but you can get so much closer to the action, to the drivers in Formula One than you ever can. I've only met Jeff Gordon, and it wasn't even it was just at a meet and greet. It wasn't even at the track or at a race. And when I went to Formula One, I went 2 years. I met Lewis Hamilton both times, Nico Rosberg, just so many people, and it's so much easier to meet people. It's insane.
Sam, you can relate this to Indy.
Yeah.
At Pocono.
Yeah, we were planning on going, but I had to go to Pittsburgh for that karting race.
Right.
But yeah, totally. You buy a paddock pass to go to the IndyCar for the weekend. It's like $50 for the weekend or whatever, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Or Saturday, Sunday, whatever they do. And then you just buy a $25 ticket for the race. So for like $75 for the weekend, you can meet the Andretti's, Juan Pablo Montoya, Will Power, all the guys that you see on TV, you can literally sit there and have a 20-minute conversation with. And I went to Richmond. I got a hot pass. And the drivers don't care. They just walk right past you.
Yeah.
You don't exist. They're too busy trying to do media, and I think
there's a lot on their plate.
Booked.
Yes,
exactly.
That is part of it. It's not necessarily to say anything against the drivers' personalities in NASCAR. It's more they get so, like you said, just overbooked, and there's just no room to stop and say, "Hey, thank you very much."
Exactly.
Or even unless you're Kurt Busch, you can hardly curse anybody off.
Yeah.
And you're just in the zone from Sunday morning on. You don't even want to. Just tunnel vision.
Oh, yeah, especially, let's say you're not even having a good weekend with practice or something.
You don't talk to nobody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But then you look like a jerk, and then all of a sudden you get all this bad press, and it's NASCAR. I guess it's oversaturated with the media. F1 is maybe undersaturated, but the following is out there.
But that's what keeps F1 the way it is, though, is that it's not, like you said, it's not saturated with it. And I agree with you guys with the whole broadcasting of the races on the F1 side. However, the post-race, the whole podium thing. We talked about it before in the show. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not. Think about it, you get this past race at Loudon up there. You had a half an hour to victory lane, and then the top like 6 or 7 guys and all the chase drivers. I mean, that's insane. How was the car? Car was good. What do you have for dinner? I had pasta. Great.
And I think
you know,
within 15 minutes, they're already up on the podium spraying champagne in Formula One. I mean, the second when you're there live, the second the parade lap ends, they open up the fence and that's where all the fans just flood the track.
And really,
insane.
Besides the winner of the race, you're not getting the fresh out of the car, you know, emotion and drive coming out of the car.
Yeah, because they like clean them up, comb their hair, and it's like 1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, You see the F1 guys with their swamp ass or whatever,
walking up, drinking out of sneakers.
Camera never stops.
I'm so thirsty, man. This shoe looks great. But I think that's the one thing that NASCAR maybe, to an extent, maybe is NASCAR now too polished. That
I'm not sure that's the right word, but I know where you're going with it.
Okay, it may not be the right word, but are they trying to aim for that perfect image? Like, I remember back in the day...
They don't want to offend anybody. And this goes back to how they were neutering their drivers or whatever. With you know, you don't see the fights and such anymore. It's maybe you get... who was it, Kenseth or Harvick? That was... who said that about Tony Stewart? A couple weeks ago.
Oh, Ryan Newman.
Okay, yeah, I was way off there. Anyway, but I mean that's about as extreme and bad as it gets. And then the media will play it, and can you believe what he said?
Yeah.
Well,
it's gossip.
But F1 wasn't always like that though. Like I started watching maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they do have a more polished interview where they're cleaned up. It goes a lot more in depth.
Yeah.
But then I think it was only 3 years ago that they just got the raw emotion podium interview, and you just get so much more of an insight.
Awesome.
Because they don't get to debrief with the team, and here's what you're gonna say, and that's how we want to portray this. They just get them right there, and that's when you see, like you guys talked about last week, with Lewis and Nico not even talking to each other because it's fresh out of the car.
I love listening to, or rather watching,
but actually,
watching them
Mercedes guys.
They don't even talk in the polished interview, so I don't think they ever do.
It's like a bad marriage. You're over there. You're on the couch for the night. That's okay. I won the race. I don't care. But I think that's the thing. And going back to F1, they don't have a charter system like NASCAR does.
No.
I mean, granted, it is really hard to get into F1 as an owner to get a spot on the track.
What Haas has done
is
impressive. It's unheard of.
6th, their first race. That's insane. So good. But I feel like which is still not to discredit them at all, but I guess they just really haven't developed throughout the season as the other teams have. But think about it.
They've stayed. I mean, you're going to have a good race and a bad race, but they've kind of held where they're at. Yeah.
Consistent. And, McLaren Honda, McLaren has been in the fort for 30 years, and they're still, finish in front of them. They're racing McLaren and Honda. And I mean, you think they're taking on McLaren and Honda. It's insane.
But I think what Haas was able to do was able to open all our eyes and say, hey, this is a sport. Anybody can do this. They really, I mean, granted, Haas has so much money. So much
Nick,
money.
that means you and I are going to be able to start our own F1 team. That's
we
what
can
Sam just said.
We forgot we have an American team, too, in Formula One. I mean, just so...
Yeah, true.
That's our connection.
And when I started watching 5 years
because
ago...
they listen to the show, right, Sam?
Josh, you are a quick learner, my friend. But speaking of getting in a car and getting ready to go, you could do that in an ARCA car, can't you? You could build a car and go race. That's what ARCA's all about.
No, you have to buy your ride in ARCA.
Yeah. Speaking of ARCA...
It helps when you have money.
Now, I'm probably going to butcher names here, and my apologies for the rest of the show. Austin Cindric. Cindric?
I'm gonna enjoy you just trying.
Won the Kentucky race at... Oh, my computer just turned off. Won the race at Kentucky.
It's an Apple product, so...
Yeah. I actually enjoy Apple. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Modifieds racing at Loudon. How do you pronounce his name? Bonsignor?
Bonsignor.
Is he French or what's going on here?
Yeah.
Always has to be that one French guy in the field. And then Ron Silk, Doug Colby, Matt Swanson, and Ryan Newman round to the top 5 for the modifieds. Josh, I know how much you love modifieds.
I actually watched, I forget how many laps. It was towards the end. I caught the last 20 or so laps. It was all right.
But
it was a modified race.
This is almost like a Daytona-like track. I've heard drivers refer to
In
New
what
Hampshire
way?
as. Just the speed they have on the straightaways.
All right.
There's a little bit of drafting. Maybe not quite. Maybe Daytona's kind of a stretch, but it's more involved than a simple short track going to like Bristol or like a Martinsville where you're not carrying.
You're
the
calling
speeds.
Bristol simple.
I am, but then again, I think it's hard to find different tracks, short tracks that aren't all kind of similar. I mean, each track has their own perspective.
See, from a driver's perspective, they're all so different.
So different.
I've only been to a handful as a driver, but
so just from drag racing.
I would say drag racing, they're still different.
Right,
they're in a straight line. How different can it be?
Completely different.
I think
insanely different.
I think I use the term different, I guess, loosely, or the same rather.
Do you want them to be more egg shaped or
no?
What are you
more
looking
bowl
for?
Shaped. But no, I think that New Hampshire's one of the faster tracks they go to, which I think is what I was trying to get at. My bad with the metaphors over here.
Yeah, if you're talking like maybe it's a bigger track, or the banking is just right that they can get more speed. I don't know, depending on where you're. I don't know.
I love Loudon because you can't just pass someone in one turn. We were talking about this a while back, that you just have to put together like a stretch of 3-4 good corners, get every apex, eventually work someone over with a crossover. It's just so it's a lot of strategy.
And I think that, no matter what you drive at the track, it, like you said, it all goes back to racing the track. If you want to pass the guy in turn 4, you're doing that in turn 1 on the lap. You're trying to set him up.
Yeah, it's a long con.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, and then I go back to the whole NASCAR thing with Martin Truex Jr. He was rolling it in the middle of the turn, but he just couldn't finish it on the way out. And I think that's one of the cool things that smaller tracks bring. Where Atlanta, okay, your car's not running good on the bottom. Try the top, try the middle, and then one lane is going to work out the best.
It's not just finding a different line.
Yes.
You have to hit the marks perfectly.
Yes.
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I mean, the modified race was still a bit of a. There was somebody. I'm looking like a moron right now. The car was just barely getting around, just barely holding the pace. They came in, made one change. The window net came down. That's what it was. He actually got black flag because the window net came down, and he was running terribly. And he came in. They fixed it. He went back out. He was fighting with the leader to get his lap back. Like, actually, a serious battle, not just, I'm going to try to keep getting in the way.
Yeah.
He was just behind the leader and was actually past him. So the commentators were, Ray Evernham was one of the commentators, actually.
Yes,
by the way.
which I do enjoy him on the booth. I don't know how you guys feel about him. But
Really?
I think it's a good perspective. It's a little different.
Right.
It's a little looser, maybe, more podcast style. But,
I could say that.
More RPM podcast style. But I think it's really cool because
he listens to the show.
Yes. Oh, he does. He's a Hazlitt guy. He knows what's good. I think it's really cool, though, because he wears those 2 hats. 3 hats, really. Ray Abraham was a driver. A long time ago. But he knows what the drivers think of. And then he worked with the drivers on the crew chief side of things. And at the end of the day, too, he owned cars. And he knows how
he knows the mechanics of it. He knows what's going on. He knows what it's like to be out in there.
Yes.
And, he knows what it's like to watch as well. He provides some extra insight, which is great.
So, and rounding out the top 10, you have Emerlin Blewett, Max Zackham.
Max Zackham.
Zackham, there you go, see?
That's another wrestler name.
There you go.
Nick Rendo versus
Max Zackham.
But
the showdown.
Blewett had a good run.
Finish him.
Finished 7th. But no, overall, that was a pretty good race. And the one thing, to relate back to the F1 we're talking about, the modifieds don't get the coverage like in my opinion, they rightfully should. I know you don't really like the modifieds, Josh. Yeah, there you go. I deserve that one. But either they race and then they post the stats later on, but they don't show the race on TV until like 3 weeks later. Like, what's up with that?
Do you know what it costs?
All right, good point. It's expensive to find.
Here's a couple issues that you have to look at if you're going to televise a race. One, sponsorship. Because a lot of times you're going to find it being a filler when like NBC has not much else going on right now. Now that Indy's finished. Well, good. Now we have some more openings or whatever, so we can fill this in here. We do have people that will watch it. It's great that they put it on, but in addition to that, in addition to the sponsorship, to get cameras out there,
No, you're
to
right.
get the commentators.
The guys out there.
What does it cost to get Ray Evernham to it? I mean, if he's already kind of in the area, sure, and he may even want to do it. He may
True.
even enjoy it. But, I mean, you can't imagine he's not getting paid for his time.
For sure.
So, I mean, you're getting these big names or semi-big names out there to talk about this, to be there for several hours. You need the camera equipment. You need all the audio equipment.
No, yeah.
You need people. They still have a ticker running across. Now, a lot of this may get edited in post, as I do with editing the factory stock videos.
Yeah.
But still, to put all those graphics up, how much time did you put into making those graphics?
For which one?
For any of the car numbers and stuff. Think, how much time did you put into that?
No, you're right.
Okay.
I put in well over 6 hours and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And that's just a hobby of mine.
Now, once it's done, okay, cool, it's done. You have it, but still, now I would need from a
No, you're right.
to now edit and make a moving ticker.
Yeah.
To put these graphics in, to overlay it, make sure the names are right. This, that, the other thing. Overlay the audio with after syncing all the audio in the video.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
There's so much that goes into it, and for me to make a regular video, it would take me 5 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Of between syncing, going through all the video, cutting out all the cautions.
And you need the manpower. You need the financial backing.
How do you get all the equipment there?
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of overhead involved with it. So, and especially if they can't do it live, to then edit it and then basically save it as a file and then
No, true. You're right.
But there's a lot more to it. And whereas Fox or NBC, when you go to the big NASCAR race, that's where all the money is.
Yeah.
So they can afford to dump
bring all the guys
just
in.
gear
And that's exactly
people.
what they do.
Yep.
That's exactly what they do.
So have you seen the production trailer?
No, yeah. It's the
Production
same.
trailers.
Yeah. There's more than one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And look at this setup here that we
Yeah.
have for a little podcast that 300 people plus Ray Evernham and whoever
Schrader.
listen to.
No, you're right, and
So-
I think that's one thing that I guess a lot of people like myself don't really think of.
It's. I mean, it makes sense when you look at it, but it just initially think about it, like it's tough to get to
Yeah.
happen that quickly.
Yeah.
I'm still about 3 races behind on factory stock videos, so.
Well, Godspeed,
Anyway.
Josh. Godspeed. To quickly wrap up the second segment here, the NHRA was full swing in the Midwest.
I'm staring at Nick right now.
Nationals.
NHRA. I'm the only person in this room with an NHRA license. I'm looking at him. Come on, input.
Oh boy.
So they were at Gateway. We have I have a list here. If I butcher the names, my bad. Top Fuel, Sean Langdon. There you go, Rendo. Funny Car, Jack Beckman.
Fast Jack Beckman.
Pro Stock Motorcycle, Jerry. How do you pronounce that, Rendo? Savio.
Yes.
Savio. Pro Stock, Alex Laughlin. Lawlin, there you go. Thanks, Josh. Pro Modified, Troy Coughlin. Super Stock, Larry Cummings. Super Comp, Christopher Doyd. Super Gas, Coy Collerer. Top Dragster, presented by RacingRVs.com, Matt Driscoll.
RacingRVs.com?
Yeah, that's a sponsor.
Did they race those?
I guess so.
Is that like the trailer
Rendo,
race?
let's go.
I think they're RVs to buy for racing.
And Tom Schmidt won the Top Sportsman presented by RacingRVs.com.
What wall thickness on the roll cage?
Yeah, right?
If you're going to...
Yeah. I mean...
Troy Coughlin defeating Ricky Smith. He's been racing for so long. I can't even imagine.
He spanked him.
I'm sure he did. Believe it or not, and maybe we're going a little off topic here. Personally, I'm not a big drag racing guy. And it's funny because one of my best friends is a drag racer.
I'm not a big drag racing guy either.
Oh, that was great. I mean, it's like saying Josh drives a Modify. He just hates it. But I don't know. We covered NHRA, F1, Modifieds, and ARCA. There was a bad wreck in the ARCA race, which
Shocking.
yeah. Well, but no, I mean, overall, it was a pretty busy race weekend. You guys have anything else you want to add?
I'm the big spoon.
That you are. Daddy Graham Cracker. That you are. So it looks like that concludes the second segment of the RPM podcast.
All right.
We'll see you on the other side of the break with the local
Oh, God.
racing.
We'll be back in a moment. It is the RPM podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Eric Brennan from the RPM Podcast. If you're looking for a dependable full auto repair and preventative maintenance center, then you need to check out O'Shea's Auto Repair in Wall, New Jersey. The family man himself, Tim O'Shea, has been providing the highest quality of automotive repair since 2000 on both domestic and imported cars, trucks, and SUVs. From race cars to street cars, O'Shea's Auto Repair covers it all. For more information, visit their website at o'sheasautorepair.com. O'Shea's Auto Repair, supporter of the RPM Podcast and proud sponsor of the O'Shea Auto Repair Factory Stops at Wall Stadium Speedway.
Welcome back, everybody, to the RPM Podcast. The local... Nick's playing with Eric's toy over here. If it's sharing, it's... If you're not sharing, you're not caring. Welcome back to the local segment of the RPM Podcast. Like I said before, Sam Ballard, beside Josh Matthews. Wow, I need water. And Nick Rendo to my right.
I'm not sure water's going to fix
I
a
need
speech
water.
impediment.
No, you're right. You're right.
I can get you a water with your coffee. It's only going to cost you $0.25. And your mother.
I don't even know where to go from there. Can we go up from here? Speaking of up, we had a pretty jam-packed weekend going on.
That was a Brennan
coming
segue.
up and going up, or whatever.
That was a stretch.
September 24th was the Fan Appreciation Night at Wall Stadium Speedway. Josh, were you there?
No. Where was I?
Oh, I mean, I was there. I know, Nick, you weren't there. It was Fan Appreciation Night. Wow. I guess I'm representing here from Wall.
Yeah, no, I was actually offered a ride, and there was a lot going on. My aunt's coming down from West Virginia, down over. Yeah, over.
Over there.
Yeah.
Over there. She's
They're
over there. Now
here.
she's over here.
Yeah. She's
Coming
drinking water,
from some distance.
throwing quarters. Love you, Eric.
We just don't love your state.
Yeah.
Or
Or your
from
island.
the people from your state.
Anyway, I thought it was a pretty cool Fan Appreciation Night.
The on-track party.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
How awesome was that?
It was like, I felt like this on-track party was longer than we normally have it, which was pretty cool. We got all the cars on the track. Nick, have you ever been to an on-track party at Wall before?
I've not.
We bring all the cars from all the features. It's a full night of features from the modifieds to the legend cars. And we bring them all on the track, and we bring the fans on the track, and they get to meet the drivers, get candy, autographs. It's actually really cool.
Do you know if they're going to be doing that again for the Spooky race?
I don't know.
I hope they do, because I think they did kind of a trunk or treat thing last year, and my kid loved
You're right,
it.
they did.
It's
did.
a great thing. It's
No,
absolutely
it's
awesome.
it's a definitely big family atmosphere down there at Wall Stadium, and it's one of the reasons why I love being part of it. You know, seeing little kids. I was speaking to a few of them down there. Spoke to this kid named Jared, and he just dreams about being a race car driver and saying he wants to grow up and race at Wall Stadium, and it shows the passion that's there from when you're this big to, you know, being a grown up.
You have to be on YouTube to get the
small,
fun size.
like below the table. Yeah. Fun size.
Throwback, a little
Bite
throwback
size.
humor.
But no, it's a really cool thing to do, be part of, and it was a huge success. I think the night of racing was a huge success as well. We had the modified, sportsman, factory stocks, 4-cylinders, legend cars, and limited late models on tap. Start with the limited late models. Shannon Monjo took the checkered flag in the limited late model race. Legend cars.
Which division?
Yeah. Gosh, I am tired. Robert French took home the Legend Car trophy in the Legend Cars there, I guess, took the trophy.
Yeah.
4-cylinders, Ronnie Mullen back in victory lane. Really cool to see him win again. That was a great race. I don't know if you guys saw, Josh, if you've seen any of the videos. That was a pretty cool race that Ronnie had, fighting off Brian Osborne and Darren Burge. That was pretty cool to see. Factory stocks, Ron Booth won. It was Snap-on Fan Appreciation Night in the Snap-on car.
Yeah, what a way to do it,
Really
right?
cool to see. Really happy in victory lane. Really cool to see that. And the modified feature, Eric Moriello took the checkered flag in that 14. Really cool to see him back in victory lane.
More yellow is no, I'm kidding. I just like saying it. It's fun.
Well, it was really cool to see him back in victory lane. I believe he was the 2014
Versus.
Gosh, I'm trying to give you some credit here, Eric, but that's not happening.
He
But
spells his name wrong. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's not a K, right? It's a
Yeah.
C.
Yeah.
You should get that checked out, Eric.
Yeah.
But no, it was a pretty cool modified race. He pretty much led majority of the race, which was, I mean, sometimes you just have to have nights like that. Boost confidence
I'd like
in
to
the
have a
team and
night
the
like
drivers.
that.
I would too. I really would. I mentioned the sportsman.
Wait, hang on. I can sum up the sportsman race.
All right. You are relentless with this. Relentless.
Prove me wrong.
I'm a fan of the sportsman a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, they give you a lot more time to line the next division up on the grid.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. But no, in all seriousness, there are no official results yet from the sportsman race. When we find out who won the race and exactly what happened, we probably post on the.
We've seen a few tidbits, but we're going to wait for official confirmation on that.
Yeah, and
although by the time you guys hear this,
by the time
might be next
you're
week.
probably driving her down to Wall Stadium right now, loading up with your Ford 350, getting ready to kick some butt down the track. And if that's the case, you probably know who won the sportsman race. But as of Wednesday at 9:42 at night, we have no idea who won the sportsman race. Yeah,
what have we been doing all night?
I don't want to know. It's been a long breaks off the air.
And Nick just won't shut up.
Yeah. But no, and then we have the final championship night. Championship weekend down at Wall Stadium Speedway.
I'm going to be there.
The champions are crowned. As always, adults are $18. Senior discount is $62 and over $15. Students $7 to $17.
Is this the crown that will be given to the sportsman?
Sure. Why not? We'll have the sportsman champion on the show, and
they'll be crowned with the Diva crown.
There you go. And kids 6 and under, always free at racing at the Jersey Shore at Wall Stadium Speedway. We have the modified sportsman, limited miles, factory stocks, 4 cylinders, and legends all ready to go back again at the track.
Oh, I thought you were an auctioneer. I'm sorry.
You said that joke last week.
I don't care.
Get new material.
Did it again.
I did. I like it because I can say it. I can pronounce all the words, and it sounds like English.
What happened in New Egypt?
Oh, good question. I didn't pull up any of the New Egypt results. They're kind of hard to come by. I don't know whether or not the website. I don't know.
Well, how about Bridgeport?
Good question. This is where I dropped the ball, folks.
Yep.
Eric Brennan, you, my friend, make this look easy. Being a host.
I'll sit patiently.
Oh, I know you will. But no, it was a great weekend overall. I know there was a lot of racing going involved at the local short tracks.
Did you say there's a lot of racing going involved?
Whatever.
It's fun putting him under pressure.
Yeah, especially trying to find results. He makes it look really easy. You know what it is? I'm not part of all the websites like everyone else is. I mean, I have a Facebook and stuff. But other than that, it's just
Got to friend you.
You have to create a Facebook.
In order to friend them, yeah.
Other than that, oh, good golly.
Can I get
what is going on here?
I think we get like the old rhinestone studding machine. I'm going to put NI on the front of your...
NI.
Here you go.
Yeah, because you already have CK, so I'll put the NI in front of it.
Oh, so that could just be Nick.
Yeah.
Oh,
it'll be off-center.
Good
But
Right.
golly.
Honestly. Are we ever on center?
I'm just trying to fill time while Sam looks for results.
So, thanks, Josh.
We wait
Billy
in our
Pouch
Calvins.
One.
That's a big paragraph right there.
Pouch one. Do I have the right one?
Shocking.
I hope I do. Ryan Go Down, Billy Pouch Jr., and Neil Williams follow top fives across the finish line. It says here on the Bridgeport page here. Sam March was the 2016 Bridgeport champion. Comebacks by Watt. I don't know really what I'm reading here. Josh, you're putting me on the spot here, and I feel like a real ass to our viewers because I can't deliver. But Billy Pouch won in the big blocks. Crate Sportsman was Craig Whitmower.
More?
I don't know. Tom Wills Jr. won the Outlaw Stocks. They are racing Saturday, October 1st for the Poker Series. The Big Black Modifieds are on tap.
I think there's one
Crate
more.
Sportsman, Outlaw Stocks.
Continue.
And the Powder Puff race on the 4th mile. Racing starts at 6
Quarter
p.m.
mile, yes. There's another Friday race coming up, I believe, on the quarter mile. But that's a separate website within that website called Spirit Speedway.
Okay. They are racing the November 11th on the Friday, wild card weekend, 350 small blocks.
No, I care about the Enduro, the 8-cylinder Enduro.
I will look that up right now. Josh,
I'm just
he's
saying.
enjoying this.
I'm sure you'll get even with me sooner or later.
Yeah, I'll DQ you for something stupid like breaking a radiator on a track.
It's all right. I'll run you over as you let me on the track.
But no, there was a lot of racing going on.
There was a lot going on.
A lot going
three-way.
on.
Good time.
Yeah, not a three-way, Tiffany. My bad. Gotta turn that down. But yeah.
Well, is it a Devil's three-way or?
Oh, I don't know. Will you be down at Wall this weekend?
I will.
Are you working
weekends,
this weekend?
2 weekends.
Okay, well, we're not. Well,
Wait,
we have
no,
the
there's
spooky
no
race.
racing in 2 weekends.
Yeah, he'll be down there and no one else will be. He'll be like, what the heck?
I'm here. Yeah,
Turkey,
that's
I'm gonna be
great.
there for Turkey Derby. All that stuff.
All right. Turkey Derby, long haul over here. Great segue, Nick. This will be the last weekend at Wall for the championship weekend, last points race weekend at Wall Stadium.
It's going to be October already.
Yeah, I can't believe it, which means the off season's coming up. What are we going to talk about besides football? And more
a
football.
lot of stuff.
Gonna
Yeah,
have to
like
miss
hockey.
that conversation.
No, we're sports talk. We can't talk about football.
Okay.
It's not a sport.
We still got some F1.
Yes, yeah, we have that. And Formula E is going to be starting up in the winter.
How wild is that, right?
It
it's
is
amazing.
perfect to cover,
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Then don't forget we have at least two indoor races.
Yeah.
We got Atlantic City and Trenton.
And Eric and I have the go-karts going on in the winter. That's something to talk about as well.
You're going down to Daytona.
I am.
How awesome is that?
Very, very, very
Aside from the
lucky.
fact that it's Florida. I mean, I don't understand that at all.
A lot of banks down there in Florida. I don't know why. A lot of the old people got money down there. But no.
And the entire chase still has to happen.
Yes.
Hopefully.
That'll hold us over for a while, I think. And
It always does.
Yeah.
No, we still got a lot of racing involved in October. Hopefully, we had that go-kart race with the factory stock guys again. That's some great racing right there.
I'm trying to figure some of that out. That actually might be very, very early November as long as the track is open because October is already booked up.
Yeah, I know how it is.
So, I mean, it's we're working on it, and I don't know. I haven't even invited anybody to anything yet because I can't figure out a date to start.
Never mind. Everyone who was Josh originally was going to invite, you're uninvited. Sorry.
Yeah, you'll be re-invited as time allows.
Yeah. We're going to give a keyword each show, and if you put a sentence together, because you watch the show in its entirety.
Ooh, I was just going to say give them a keyword. That means they actually have to listen.
What if Ray Everham solves it? 'Cause, he listens.
That would be cool.
He'd probably have a rigged go-kart, though.
No.
It would just be in the gray area.
He might be able to pay somebody off to get one of the better carts, but
wow.
I'm not. No, that's not about a dishonesty thing. That's about
Money.
He has more money than me.
Wow.
Have you seen this porch that we record in?
No, it's a beautiful house, Josh. Those aren't sound effects I'm hearing.
No,
Those are wow.
That's the actual
Waretown in the 609.
the real Waretown crickets.
That's great.
Because you can't find them in Middletown.
No. No, you do. You find a lot of other weird things down there. Out from
Yeah,
Middletown.
you like ballards.
Yes. So that pretty much wraps up the local section. Is there anything that you guys want to close with? Any final thoughts?
I'm sure there was something I really wanted to talk about.
Did you learn anything today, Josh?
Oh, boy. What did I learn? Come back to me.
Nick, did you learn anything today?
Yeah, a lot.
Like what?
Like a lot.
A lot?
A lot more about local racing.
No. Something specific.
Ooh, there's just so much. I learned that Sam thought that, what was it, Loudon was a parking lot at first until he really got there.
I learned that whoever sits in that chair ends up forgetting how to pronounce words.
Yes. This is the hot seat.
I learned that you're really good at the soundboard.
I don't know about that. I
Let's
just
see.
like touching buttons.
This is true. Well, we learned a lot about McLaren and Apple,
Yeah,
which
definitely.
I think is really cool. I learned about the battery thing. We didn't talk about that, but
yeah,
we
we didn't talk about it, but we learned about it.
We'll put a post in our Facebook about the whole McLaren with the
lead into it real quick.
Oh, okay. This
Real
isn't
quick.
local, but the Formula E with the McLaren battery. Wow, that rhymes. Outsider resource. McLaren was looking at developing a new Formula E battery for the series, which I think is pretty cool.
Now, is this one of the batteries that's supposed to last the entire race, or is it still going to be the 2-car race?
I think it's just more power, probably to
Okay.
compete with Formula One, because the car's going to be 5 seconds faster next year, wider wheelbase and everything, much more aerodynamic, way more less drag.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they're probably trying to compete with
I'm
that.
kind of
I would think.
against that whole idea.
I can't. Maybe I'm biased because right now, whatever generation of Formula One car we have does not work for my team at all. So maybe I just want a little bit of change.
For those of you at home, Nick is a Ferrari guy, so this is not their year.
Or 3 years.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't even say anything. This is great.
But all right. But what I'm getting at is with the way Formula E is, I mean, it's been so competitive.
So it will last twice as long as the current battery they are using.
So this is what, because they were looking, I believe, 2017 or 2018 to try to have a battery that would last the whole race. So that would remove that car change that you see.
Yes, this will allow the cars to race twice as long on one battery. Removing
I feel like
the need
that's
to
what
swap
made
cars.
it really cool, different, special.
But
Now
go
it's Formula One.
You
without
have
the
people
noise.
here. You have people here talk like you brought up Tiffany on the break who doesn't like the aspect of that about the sport, and I can kind of see that. I can kind of see where it's racing. You're not racing who can strap the belts on, and take them off, and put them back on again the quickest.
But hang on. Because it's not about that. It's not because they have a full minute. Or is it 57? Whatever. There's a time.
Have a full minute, and you're not allowed to leave until that's over.
Exactly,
anyway.
because that way you can't skimp on the safety.
And they've trained thousands of times and can get in the car within 15 seconds.
Exactly.
Sure. And they have 8 people helping them.
And that's why. And that's the thing. So that's why the car change never really bothered me. Because
it doesn't change it.
And this isn't starting.
And there was a time when races would start with the drivers running to their car.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The old Le Mans style start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, a little side note to our viewers at home. This isn't supposed to be in effect until the 2018 season, so we still have one whole season.
Well, think about the R&D. How long it takes for that to actually.
True.
You know, all right. Cool. They're going to develop it. Here's your goal. But now we have to figure out how to keep the weight down.
Yes.
This, that, the other thing. I mean, it's.
And I think this will be something cool to look at, almost like a silly season. What's going to actually come out of this?
Well, I want to say, who is it that's making the battery? McLaren. Well, all I'm going to say is, thankfully, it's not Samsung, because then the cars would just catch fire and explode.
Or Apple. Last 3 laps.
Gosh.
Turn down the brightness.
There goes both sponsorship opportunities here at the show. But,
no, I wouldn't want Samsung products in here because we might not have a studio.
This was a great bonus sector of the show at the end. Talking about little Formula E.
This will be a
a little bit.
Well, we should make this like a paid subscription piece right here.
Yeah. Pay-per-view, folks. 15 cents.
Yeah.
For every 5 hours. So, but no, that is what I learned about the show, and I'm sorry we failed to bring that up earlier in the show, but that was pretty cool to learn about.
I want to thank Aaron. I forgot his name. Lineman.
You sitting over here?
Yeah. He actually shared that to our Facebook page, so thank you for that.
Yes.
That actually was a pretty good
really
article.
cool piece.
So, yeah, we finally got to it. Took you for.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure you listen till the very end.
There you go. Which he probably does.
Yeah, I think he actually got a shot to race again. Was it Connecticut, Pennsylvania? I don't know. He actually got to go out and
guys
drive
everywhere.
some more road. Yeah, he gets around
in a good way. In a good way, Aaron. In a good way. Don't listen to Josh.
Sure. Is there a bad way?
No. Oh, I'll show you. Never mind. But no, I mean,
God's loophole.
Wow.
Is that what it is, Sam?
Yes, it is the loophole chosen by God. But that pretty much wraps up episode 30 of the RPM podcast. Nick,
I'm really happy that I got to do episode 30. That's awesome.
I'd like to
feel so
personally
special.
thank you as one of my closest friends coming onto the show
Since
here,
fifth
and it was
grade.
a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Awesome meeting you too.
Thank you. It was great. It worked out really well.
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you back.
I would love that.
You can take. I don't know. I think we're just going to replace Brennan at this point. So.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a terrible segue.
I think I have like some huge shoes to fill.
Yes, I had a terrible segue. I mispronounced words that are easy to say, and I am kind of from Staten Island, just across the pond.
So we're going to call you Sam with a C, because anyway.
No limits. There's no boundaries here at the RPM podcast.
All right.
But I love every second of it. So thank you again for tuning into the RPM podcast for episode 30. Going to try to close it out here on a great note. Check out all your local racing online, as you do every week. Watch us on iTunes, subscribe, YouTube, SoundCloud. We're everywhere.
Stitcher, Podcast Addict.
Yeah. Do your thing. Share us on Facebook. We greatly appreciate it. Josh.
YouTube is better. I don't know.
Yeah, the Tuba-Yube. So that's it.
And do what Sam does. Trap your friends in your vehicle and
drive them down to
Bring 'em
Waretown
here.
and bring them to the show.
No, I meant just force them to listen to the show. But you know, you can. Yeah,
You can do that too.
Throw in some
bring
Wendy's.
food though. If you're going to come down here, bring food.
So, as for Sam Ballard, Josh Matthews, Nick Rendo, thank you for tuning into the RPM podcast.
You did
I
it
just
again.
messed it up. I just messed it up.
See you
So,
next week.
Go to Wall.